Yo, 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 welcome back to Neighborhood Politics. I am Mrs. Neighborhood Politics.
And I'm Mr. Neighborhood Politics.
And we have another special episode. I am so excited because this is like our last episode of 2023.
We wrap things up.
So this is a great way to wrap up 2023.
Yeah, very special episode. I'm super happy, super excited. You just said it a little bit before, probably about 5 minutes ago, but man, I have on a guest that, I've known probably upwards of 25 years, is an amazing thing, so to be sharing this space with y'all right now, just super thankful and appreciative for that.
Yeah.
So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having us.
Oh, for sure.
My name is Jermayne Harris. I am 30 years old. I'm a culinary arts instructor. I love the Lord. I love my life. I love my wife.
Period.
We'll get into it a lot, but I'm also a heart failure survivor.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Yeah. And I'm Kima Harris. I'm his wife. It's so funny. We was just asked at church, like, who are you in the Lord? And I said, I'm an educator. I'm a lover. Also 30. And also we're new expecting parents. So
Congratulations. It's funny because on our journey, as I just, I sit back and I just watch, it's like we are like hand to hand with how things is going. It's like we kind of got married within the same time span. Yeah. Right after the marriage, for both of us, we found out that we was going to have a baby girl. Then y'all ended up getting, it's like it's funny how things is just transpiring, and it's like we talked about it before how we grew up with each other, like literally since the youngest of the youngest, since the 75 pound Mifflin Sharks to now our daughters might be cheering on the same team.
Right. That's dope to me.
That's so precious.
That is so dope to me. I'm sorry. That is
for sure.
Beyond. And y'all got married in 22, right?
Yeah.
So they got married right before us. I love the way that y'all did it too.
Yeah.
It was just like y'all. Like,
thank you.
Yeah.
And y'all just popped out like, we're married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Our pastor had we were going through marriage counseling, and he kind of challenged us like, you guys are living together already. What's the wait for? We were like, really just to save the money for the wedding. But he was like, just get married now. And I was like, I didn't have a problem, but I'm like, like you said, we living together. We do everything as a, like we're a married couple. So, why not? So.
That's what happened with us. The same exact thing.
Yeah.
Y'all got challenged.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
What are we waiting for? And one of the main things was that a lot of people look at us, right? Mm-hmm. So the thing was like, you don't want to distort like God's image. Like,
that's funny that you said that. That's what was said to us too.
Like, you don't want to distort God's image, like, because if they see y'all shacking up, kicking it,
right?
They're gonna think it's cool. They're gonna be like, Q and y'all do that, or because we got students, so it's like they like. So when I was talking to him about everything, and that's how it kind of came upon us. And then when I think about it, you like, why don't you just get married? Like, the wedding ain't gotta, it ain't gotta be. Yeah,
it's just a show.
So our pastor told us, and this really, really stuck with me because I think for me, I wanted to be really authentic. So I was like, I definitely want to be pleasing to God, but I also really wanted to I didn't want to do it because of what others thought. I was like, I didn't care about that. But he was like, the last thing that. My hiccup, I guess, I was like, I'm totally open. I don't have any barriers. I'm super for it. I was like, but I don't want to miss out on the excitement that happens. And he was like, you set the tone. If you be happy about it, even come whatever, then everybody else will follow suit. And so I just thank God because every milestone was celebratory at every level. So we didn't get robbed from that, and I really thank him.
Yeah.
That's dope.
For sure. That's again another, I guess, similarity in our situation because again, like she said, she had I think met with some of her mentors and they was talking about it. And then she called me on the phone kind of frantic-y and tripping out, talking about I'm about to move out. We can't. And I'm like, when we gonna get? I'm like, man, listen, let's just get married. It ain't that big of a deal. Let's just go ahead and do it. Like we
know we want.
You know what I'm saying? We know we ain't gotta wait 2 years. Let's go ahead and do it. So
I think it was more so like when you know what God wants, it's like the fear of the Lord. So it's like it's not.
We better move with urgency.
Yeah, so you just feel like it's now or never. Like we need to get married tomorrow because it was just kind of one of those things. And he always
it was quick when he told us he was like, "You're thinking to get married." And I think by the end of the month, y'all had like a plan.
It was like 30 days. I think it was less than 30 days.
Yeah,
so,
God challenged us, but it was all worth it because God really came. It was like a trust walk. and him and God be like this, so it be me that's getting worked all the time. So
amen.
Yeah, and it was I really appreciated how y'all did it too. Like y'all made it beautiful, but what was it on like a Thursday?
It was
Tuesday.
It definitely was a Tuesday.
Yeah, that was like the middle of the week, and I told her she was like. I was like, yeah. That's what they said. But if you were there, you would have never known. Like,
everybody said that. But I think it was just watching God move for us. Like, we just had to be obedient and just follow what he was doing, because it was like, we would have never thought we was getting married on July 5th, the day after July 4th. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or even just the way everything was just happening. It was just kind of like, it was just all God. It was nothing to do with us, but just doing, like, being obedient to what he said. So that's why I said I really honor and I love the way that y'all did it, because y'all did it. And it was an encouragement to us. I was like, that's what's up. Like, they just did it. You know what I'm saying? I think we think it got to be all drawn out. And it's God is so simple in the way he wants things to be so simple, but it's straightforward.
Right.
So, yeah, that's dope.
I think now that you said it, I think ours was about a month too. Like, the pastor says something, like the first time, and it was like, okay, so we told our parents.
They weren't they were excited.
We have a couple of parents that his mom and his stepdad, like, they're the ones that's like heavily in the church. So they were like, oh my gosh, this is an answered prayer. Like, we're so excited. We're so on board. Whatever God says, yay. My parents was cool. His dad, his stepmom were like, oh, we thought y'all was telling us y'all having a baby. He was like, oh Lord, can we get married first?
No, it was funny because people was like, I'm like, yeah, we about to get married. But my friends was like, yeah, y'all engaged. I'm like, no, we getting married.
Right. Yeah. No.
I think July 5th. They're like, what? Everybody was like, y'all getting married. Like, that's how y'all go. I'm like, yes, that's what we gonna do. So either you can make it or you can't. If you can't, we understand.
But we're gonna follow.
But we're gonna follow through. And everybody was like, no, we're not missing it. So that's definitely.
We had to come separate, I think, and I ain't had no AC in my car. It was hot. I was like, I'm gonna make it. We're gonna make it.
Nah, for sure. Well, let's get into it. So, how did y'all meet? How did y'all meet?
So, we went to Monroe together. Okay. So we met in middle school. We knew each other throughout that time, and then I think we got separated in high school. But fast forward,
you was catering.
Yeah, I was catering my very first catering event.
My best friend.
Yeah, her best friend's
and another wedding. Childhood friend to him.
Came, my dude Jeremy. Okay. Came and his wife, they got married, so he asked me to do the catering for his wedding, which kicked off my catering business actually. So she was there. I was working. I'm in work mode. I'm full Gordon Ramsay. Like I don't talk to many people. Like I'm all business and. My mom is doing she's my wingman. So she's doing stuff behind my back and I don't know what's happening. I'll let her tell.
Yeah, so his mom, so he's there like on behalf of the food, like he said, and I'm there for my best friend. And I'm just helping to set up the reception area. And his mom comes up to me and she was like, you're cute or you're pretty. And I was like, oh, thank you. And she was like, yeah, Germaine. I was like, I was like, yeah, we used to go to middle school together. She was like, oh, okay. She was like, he's single. And I was like, I have a boyfriend. And so later that night, she walks up to me. The guy I was dating at the time, he came in or whatever. And I think I'm by myself for a moment. She walks up to me like, is that your boyfriend? I was like, yeah. She was like, So I'm like, oh my goodness. So that was a
2016.
couple years. Yeah.
And so fast forward again to
COVID, really?
Yeah, COVID in November 2020. Just casually scrolling. It's like around Halloween, casually scrolling through. And I would let her tell her side of it. From my side of it, I see a picture. I'm like, dang, is that Kima? Okay. So, I shot her a quick DM and, just shot the shot and, it ended up working out.
For sure.
But from her side of it, she was recently single, so she was that was her way of putting herself back out there. She thirst trapped me. So
I did, yes. But that's okay. I remember it's so funny how it happens because even got in a little stuff. Like I called my mom and I was like, well, Mom, I was like, I know I want to be married. I know da-da-da-da. And I was like, nowadays, this is how you put yourself back on the scene. So I took a little picture. And then literally as I'm like scrolling through my DMs, I see Germaine's and I was talking to her. I was like, didn't I tell you this is how you put yourself back on the map?
Oh my goodness.
And so I had and not even in a cocky way, there was all these DMs because previously I wasn't on social media often. So more than anything, I think they was just like, oh, where you been? Da, 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 da. And so I was like, Germaine's was like the only one that was super respectful. Like some guy was like, hey, what's up? You remember me? Like, no, please. So I was like, oh, he was super respectful. And I had just told him what it was. I was like, you know, I'm newly single, but I want to heal. Give me a couple. And he was like, asked me if I was interested in dating. And I was like, you know, he was like, we can go on dates, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, that's healthy. Yeah. Just let me heal because I want to be fully available. So he had like freaked me out a couple weeks later because he's like, good morning, beautiful.
It may not have been a couple weeks. It was
maybe like a couple days.
And I don't think I said that. I don't think I said good morning.
Something along those lines.
I just said good morning.
Right,
but it was probably like maybe 5 days to a week later. Like I hit her, just say good morning.
What's up? Checking temperature.
Exactly.
Don't forget about the temperature.
Right.
My sister was like, why are you upset? He's showing you that he's interested. But to me, it was intimidating because it was like,
I just told you.
Yeah.
And you just said good morning.
Right. Just give me a second.
What you trying to say?
Right. So later, probably
eggs and bacon over here, baby, man. What's up? Good morning.
It was stressful. But I think like 2 days later, I had talked to my sister. We had worked out, and she was like, and we just happened to be talking about this particular incident, but she was like, he's showing you that he's interested. And that's a good thing. That's a healthy thing. So if you're not ready, that's cool, but don't be intimidated by that. And I was like, and it was like the pep talk that I needed. And she was talking about just, you know, her previous relationship and staying available and all this stuff. And I was like, I want to be healthy. I don't want to be bitter. I know what I want, et cetera, et cetera. So I had reached out, and I think he was shocked. Like, girl, you just almost chewed me out for telling you good morning, and here you are.
Oh, you actually responded back and turned up on him. No.
Oh,
when he said the good morning.
Did I ignore you or what?
I think she said good morning, but it was real stiff.
Right.
You can always know. You always know. I'm like,
she just sent the GM back.
Yeah. Like it was real stiff. So I was like,
some type of way.
All right, cool. I'm gonna let it ride then. And then so yeah, when she did text me, I was surprised though because I was expecting it to be. About some time, but
But I think that's dope though because I feel like that's kind of like courting in a sense because it's kind of like you took the initiative. She said good morning. You caught her drift, and then you waited for her to say something to you. Whereas
to be responsive,
because guys, y'all could be a little crazy. Y'all don't get the picture.
Yeah.
Somebody text you back. G, tell me some. All right, well, hey, can I come get you? Like, no.
Read the signals. Yeah.
I think that's dope though, man, because. If I remember right, we had our 10-year reunion.
Yep.
And I don't think I had maybe met you yet, Keem. I don't think so, but I remember I just can't remember. I remember speaking about y'all's relationship and you telling me kind of this story or whatnot. And it's just dope because at that time I think we was both talking about taking the next step. And then it's crazy that literally within we just gonna say 3 years, and probably was less than that. Here we are now, both married, and because we was both just talking about being in relationships as men, as young men. Like how do we do this for real? And then the fast forward, married, about to have 2 girls now, baby girls. It's just crazy how God be working.
Absolutely.
I love it. I think that's awesome because at the same time, y'all was able to talk about it.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? God put the right people around you at the same time. Cause just to say one of y'all wasn't on that type of tip. That could serve as a discourager.
And
right.
It's
for
just
sure.
in general. That's the best thing in your life.
For sure. And it's good to have, people like this in your life because as men, as women, y'all kind of naturally find someone to speak to about, how y'all feeling, marriage, kids.
Right.
It's hard for us to find kind of that other peer to be like, hey, what you think about me getting married, bro? Because
that's
they respond well to it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You might get a response be like, bro, you getting married? You tripping? But
what?
having been
married.
Right.
But being able to have a healthy dialogue with somebody, someone that you really cherish, a relationship that is really meaningful is important because them is the conversations that really stick with you, and help you get over that heal to where it's like, you know what? Let me go ahead and maybe take this next step.
Right. And it's inspiring too to have those conversations. You may not be on that kind of time, but you hear it and you're like, dang, he sounds happy. Or, if this is working out for them, maybe that can work out for me too. So and I think in that conversation that we had, I remember telling you, with all of my health issues and stuff, I found somebody that's like we don't stress each other out. Like we don't that's not our life, you know what I mean? So I was like, God was shining in too. It's like, man, out of all the people in the world, I found somebody that's perfect for right now. And so I could never be more happy about that.
For sure.
So let's get into the health thing, but also too, okay, so y'all met like that and y'all started talking and okay, so now, I'm sorry, it's a lot.
I feel like I know where you're going. Yeah.
Okay, so after that, y'all started to date and then moving forward.
Yeah.
How did you feel? First of all, let's talk about what is your health, your health situation, like status, everything, and then how
did I feel learning those things?
Yes.
So my diagnosis is congestive heart failure.
Okay.
So what that means is basically my heart wasn't functioning properly, to keep it pretty simple. Initially, it was pumping at 15%, and a normal heart should be pumping at about 50 to 60. Mm-hmm. So going through that, I ended up in the hospital for about 5 days. I got out. I made improvements. I had a couple of devices that I had to wear.
What age was this? I'm sorry.
This was 23.
Okay.
I was 23. So.
And how did you find, like, what happened to where you like something ain't right?
So it started out as like I got a cold or I got sick. I don't know what I had really, but whatever I had, it stuck around for like a long time. It was like months. So I'm at work. I can't focus on work. I'm angry all the time. Because it's like you just don't know what's wrong with you. You know what I mean? So navigating that is like, I'm on pace to become a kitchen supervisor, but they were possibly reconsidering it because I'm snapping on people. I'm irritable all the time. I'm pissed off. So it's like, what is going on with me? And this happened for months. I mean, it would be nights where I couldn't lay down on my back straight. Like I had to sleep like stiff, like sitting straight up against the wall. Because what I found out was my lungs, I had so much fluid in my lungs that it was flooding. And it was felt like I was drowning while I was sleeping. So I would wake up having these like coughing episodes, and all of this is happening over a span of 2 or 3 months, and you just don't know what's going on. So go to the family doctor. They say they think it's pneumonia because they can see the fluid. So they gave me an inhaler. They gave me medication that's not working. So you fast forward another month, then comes the swelling. So the swelling in my lower extremities was getting to the point where I was in the shower one day. I'm looking around. I'm like, I called my mom in there. I'm like, does this look normal to you? And she's like, no. And at this point, we still don't really know what's going on. Walking up and down the steps is getting harder. Just life in general is just getting harder. And then I think fast forward to, it's like a week after Easter, 2017. I'm at my dad's house and I'm trying to put my shoes on and I can't anymore because my feet have gotten so big that it's almost impossible. So something had been telling me to go to the ER at this point, but now I was like, I can't even put my shoes on no more. So I should probably go. So I put them in my flip-flops. I drove myself to Mount Carmel East. And then that night, like getting to the ER, probably waited maybe an hour. Now at this time I wasn't in pain, so it wasn't like I needed to be, rushed anywhere or anything like that. But I was always uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So that night in the ER, they, running all types of medication through me. I got a CAT scan. I don't know if they tried to give me an MRI that night, but just a lot going on. So eventually they running 2 different medications in both arms. And I had a allergic reaction to the medication. So my body, I'm laying in the bed. It's just my mom and my dad in the room. My body heats up so bad it feels like the sun is sitting like directly in front of me. And like I usually don't cuss in front of my mom, but I sit up and I'm like, she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know, like my body, I'm so hot, like I'm pulling stuff off. And then the nurses rush in and they give me some Benadryl. At this point, like she said my mouth is like completely white. And then my dad, I remember he had Subway. And he's just like, well, here. And he had lemonade. Yeah, and I was like, I could barely make words. I'm like, I'm thirsty. So he gives me his lemonade. The nurse is like, okay, no more lemonade. We gotta give him some water or something. Yeah. The rest of the day, I don't even think I said 5 words. Like, it was just, my body was just so drained after that. I ended up staying the night. The next morning, my doctor comes in, Dr. Thomas Archer. I never forget his name because he's like a father figure to me now. But he's like, you have congestive heart failure, and he kind of explained what that meant to me. So it was kind of like your heart's supposed to be shaped like a football. Yours is shaped like a basketball right now. And so he was like, what's happening is, it's enlarged. And what's happening is your valve is off track. So it's spewing the fluid that's supposed to be circulating through. It's spewing it into your body, and that's what's causing the swelling.
Wow.
So stayed in the hospital another 4 days or so. Actually, so after I met him that night, was another rough night. They're doing the medications in both arms again. And this time, I don't know if it's anxiety. I don't know if it's, if I was really, warming up or whatever, but I'm getting anxious. I'm like, my stomach is starting to hurt. So I'm like, okay, I called a nurse in. It's probably like 11 o'clock. Called a nurse in. My dad is still there too. So I tell her what's going on, and she wants to go leave and get the doctor. I don't really want her to leave, but she's like, well, I got to go get him. So, we'll be right back. She leaves. I call my dad in there. He was out in the hallway on the phone. I call him, so he helps me go to the bathroom. I get in there. I sit down. I think I lean forward. Next thing I remember is him being in his arms, and it feels like he's like tapping my face, but he said he wasn't. But I'm waking up, and I'm on the floor and like laying in his arms, like he's trying to like wake me up. And this so I probably can still see the scar on my, like right here next to my eyebrow. I hit my head on the floor, and I had passed out, and then I hit my head on the floor. So they had to rush me downstairs, get CAT scan. And mind you, I'm in the hospital. I'm in a gown.
Don't got no clothes.
No clothes on. And you just got to all this. I just hit my head on the floor, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Like,
right.
There's so much going on. So luckily, I didn't have a concussion or anything. But at this time, I'm a fall risk, so they got to have like extra security around my room to make sure I don't get out the bed and stuff. So. Speaking of security, my dad is freaking out now. He's flipping out, cussing everybody out. So they call security on him, and it's like, everything settled down. But so that was the worst of it. Well, that wasn't the worst of it. That was the first stint. Second stint, I think we get through 2018. Life is good. I'm making probably the most money that I've ever made in my life. I'm
sorry to stop. So at this point, you don't have nothing, like you found that out, but you don't have nothing going on, like you regular still.
Right. So, I saw before
device,
that. Yeah.
Right? Before
that, I had what's called a Zoe Life Vest. It's a wearable defibrillator. So kind of the things you might see around buildings or schools that you patch up on the people when you learn like CPR. Like, so I'm wearing that as a vest, and so if my heart gets out of rhythm, it'll shock it back into rhythm.
Okay.
My heart didn't increase from that 15% in enough time, so they ended up putting a defibrillator in my chest.
Okay.
And so from there, my EF or ejection fraction got up to 40%. So it's on the right track.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm working, I'm making good money, I got my own place. Like all of these things are going really well. Towards the latter end of the year, I can tell things feel different again. You know what I mean? PTSD was a strong thing back to anytime I felt funny, anything, my mind is automatically on panic mode because it's like I've been here before.
Right.
I know what this feels like, what's going on. And I make it to January 1st, actually. I'm a manager at Bob Evans, and I walk into a complete dumpster fire. Like it's people done called off. It's busy. This is in Pickerington, so $5 Tuesdays. It's a Tuesday at the movie theater. It's also New Year's Day, so we're packed out.
There's a lot going on.
So I had a panic attack, like in the office. Called my mom. She came and got me. And then from there, everything kind of like seemed like it went downhill. We get to I think maybe the end of February. I ended up going back into the hospital. At that point, things were different. Like when I got out, I didn't feel as good as I felt the first time. It was like the first time I was like, okay, I feel like I make an improvement.
Right.
This time I'm like, I feel better when I came in here, but like, cause when I came in, the nurse ended up telling my mom, like, he's very sick. Like I remember coming outside cause I called my mom, like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm feeling that like wheezing feeling again. I'm having these coughing episodes, and she says when I come outside, she can see it all over me. It's like it's happening again. So she takes me to drops me off at the ER. I go in and like I'm coughing in there. Like my dad is very squeamish, and so I'm like coughing out mucus, but it's coming out. There's like streams of blood in it, and it's just like he's just like, I can't, you know. So, but I remember, you know, it's a Sunday. There's people from our church coming in to check on me, and I can see like the pity in their eyes, and I'm like, dang, is it that bad? You know what I mean? Is it worse than last time? And I remember going to get I think a CAT scan or something. I walked, might have only been down the hallway. I walked. By the time I made it there, I was like, I gotta sit down. So they wheeled me back, you know, to the room. I get checked in. You know, fast forward, like the stay wasn't that bad, but we get out, and again, I'm not really feeling like my best yet. From like the day I got out, or maybe the day after, for the next like 20 to 30 days, I threw up every single day. Any meal that I had came back up.
20 to 30 days, like 20, 30 days straight. Like, just throwing up.
Yeah, it used to like scare the hell out of my mom and my sister, because my mom could hear her. She was always on alert, but my sister's room was next to the bathroom. So when I would go in there in the middle of the night, she could hear it, and it would just drive her crazy. So at this point, I check back into the hospital. My doctor's like, I'm gonna push you back in. Found out I had a blood clot in my lungs. So at this point, it was I was in there. I wasn't responding to the medication. I'm not really feeling like is this you know, I'm not asking myself that yet. Like is this it? You know?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You thinking like, oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So my doctor. So a quick rewind. The very first time I met him, he talked about artificial heart pump and a heart transplant. He was like, if we ever had to get there, it should be years down the line. Like we're gonna hope that we don't have to get there. So now he's like, you know, I think I'm gonna send you to Cleveland Clinic. So I'm thinking that I'm about to take an ambulance up there. Two guys in pilot suits come in the room, like, are you getting ready to go to Cleveland? I had to be life flighted, like in a helicopter. Now I don't like heights. I don't like planes. I don't like roller coasters. Nothing. I had to get they put me in there. So many details. Like it was really tight. The air conditioner is blowing like crazy, and it's on my feet, so I'm cold. I'm like, anytime I lay like flat on my back, I'm coughing up. So it's like it's a super uncomfortable ride. The takeoff is like, oh my God. But the landing was actually cool. So I get to Cleveland Clinic. Right, exactly. They rush me in there. They get me hooked up to all this stuff. And then my mom isn't there yet. She's, you know, traveling from Columbus, 2.5 hour drive. So I'm really trying to wait for her to get there to see, you know, what do we do next. We get to a point where they're like, okay, well, we got to do a couple of procedures on you, because they had to put what's called a swan in my neck, which is like where they give you all your medication, they draw blood from, but it's like a long needle that goes down into your body. So it's like, we got to do that. We got to get that in there. And then they had to do this thing called a balloon pump in my leg, which is basically to keep my my heart functioning, like get it back in how it's supposed to, basically. So they came in, they're like, you know, we're going to kind of on a limited time. I was like, well, I'm trying to wait for my mom, but eventually I was like, fine, let's just go do it. It was painful, man. Like, they put this stuff called lidocaine in your neck, which is it burns. The actual needle itself isn't the bad part; it's the sting. So they do that. They do the balloon pump thing, and you know, he like pushes real hard down on my groin, and or on my my like hip bone, and he was like, "Okay, we're done." And I'm like, "I'm in pain." He's like, "Do you want some fentanyl?" And I was like,
Bruh, see,
I was like, "Well, yeah." And I was like, "Yeah." But you know, I had to think about it. I'm like, I'm in a hospital. This is what the stuff is used for. You know what I mean? Because at my coma they use morphine. Fentanyl is a little different. Like it's a painkiller, but it's like with the right dosage, it's supposed to be normal. But you know where we come from, it's like fentanyl. It's like what? So I'm like, okay, whatever. I actually asked him while I was on the table. I'm like, is that safe? And he's like, yeah, you're fine. I'm like, okay. So you get through all of that. This is around March, late March, early April. They come in and talk to me about what's called an LVAD, left ventricular assist device. This is what I'm wearing now, actually. this is a artificial heart pump that they connect to your heart to make your the blood flow go through your heart properly. So they talked to me about that. It's not many options on the table, so I'm like, well, you know, I don't really see what else we can do other than me sitting here waiting for a heart transplant for God knows how long. You know what I mean? Months maybe, but I'd have to still be in the hospital. So I chose to do the LVAD. I had the surgery. It's an open heart surgery on April 4th, 2019. And so from there, I started to feel better. Now it's open heart surgery. And I got a whole device in my chest now. Get your sternum is cracked open. Like I had to relearn how to walk. I had to, relearn how to swing. My mom used to have to swing my legs into the bed because I have no control over this right now. You know, so going through all of those things, I finally get out of the hospital after about a month. I went in maybe March 26th. I got out April 21st, Easter Sunday. So I remember just them coming in, checking my stuff, and it's like, okay, we're gonna try to get you out of here today. I'm like, thank God, man, because I was driving myself crazy in there, man. Like,
because I'm sure that was a lot on you mentally, and spiritually, and physically. It's like it's literally so much that come into. And then doctors coming in every second. I'm drawing blood, and you don't know what they gonna say. It's like it's a lot.
It's so much.
It causes you to have anxiety.
Yeah, real bad. And it's the emotions, man. Like a lot of the time, it's like I take a lot of stuff on the chin. Like, you know, I got heart failure. I got I'm in the hospital. I had open heart surgery. I'm good. I woke up. I'm good. You know what I mean? But it got to a before, like the night before the surgery, a guy had came. It's a friend of our family. He was a pastor, and he came in and talked to me, prayed for me. And I don't know what it was about this one, but he left out. I called my mom back in, like, can you come up here? And then I let everything out. I'm like, I probably ain't cried like this since I was born, maybe. But it was but years of just going through all of this, like, and now I'm about to have open heart surgery.
Right.
That's a lot.
Right now I'm 25.
At 25 years old.
Yeah, and then me and her had a conversation earlier that day about like power of attorney, your will, all of that stuff.
That crazy stuff, because you got
exactly.
Oh my God.
Got to plan for the worst.
And it has to be talked about.
It has to be talked about. And I'm 25. I'm talking to my mom about this, and I'm like, if
this happened, I need you to
exactly.
And this is what and it's like, I got to talk about this. I got to think about. And then this was another thing that I was when I was hearing you talk, like when you was having those moments leading up into finding all of this out. It seemed like stress or something was like a trigger for it. You get what I'm saying? Because you said with Bob Evans, you had a panic attack, and then next thing you know, it went down. And then you said even before that, like, so it seemed like stress or any type of like.
It was around that time was super stressful for a lot of reasons, but that I think stress was the tipping point. Like
trigger, like just straight up trigger it, and you just like, all right, and then So
you know, kind of to rewind all the way back though. You know, like again, I said we started playing football at the youngest of ages, so at 75 pounds. So to go through, you know, all your life being able to play football, being an athlete, basketball, Northeast days, to being a high school quarterback, you know, being able to experience all of that to where it's like, you know, you go through physicals. You have to go through physicals for us to be able to play. Right. To make it to an age to where it's like I didn't experience all of this. I didn't play football, I didn't play basketball. Right. How was none of this ever caught before? And how was I even able to push through and still play at the top, you know, at the top level at a point in time, and not be affected by it, to get into an age to where out of nowhere you done made it through college now at this point in time, and now all of this is transpiring. What was that like? So something I always think about, like what they always ask you is there family history, and there isn't. So what happened was when I got sick or whatever virus I caught, it attacked my heart, and that's what made it enlarged. And so you know, looking back, like you said, we were always active: football and basketball, track, AAU basketball, everything.
Don't play.
Right? Yeah, you don't want that. Yeah, so I mean everything. I see Q at every juncture. Like I'm playing for a team, I know I'm gonna see him at the hoop or somewhere, him or DeLorean. So it's something I always say. It was like, I thank God that it didn't happen to me back then, especially in like high school, because I would have been devastated if I couldn't play football no more, or like sports would have been taken away from me. Because now it's like, if a dog is chasing me, I ain't running. Like, I ain't running nowhere. Like, we're gonna have to fight it out, because I'm not running. So, you know, I felt like I was at my physical prime at that point. And so for all of that to happen, it was like, it knocks you down. You know what I mean? It makes you, like, even after getting the device put in, like, I remember being in the hospital, just me and my mom. You ever seen that meme of DMX when he's like going through the shoebox or whatever, and he just like breaks down? Like, I'm struggling trying to put all of this stuff, you know, so it's a bunch of wires and all of this stuff. I'm trying to figure out how to put it into they had me in like this holster and stuff. And I look in the mirror, my face is sunken in, my chest is like caved in. I just don't look like myself. I ain't have a haircut. Like, I just don't feel like myself, man. Yeah. Like, and I just like get frustrated, and I just like break down again. She's like, she kind of had to talk me off the ledge, but it was that stuff that was like, man, thinking about, especially just 6 months ago, I was like living my best life, and here I am in the hospital. Like, almost that was my deathbed. You know what I mean? Like, really, in like real talk, that was my deathbed. So, you know, to be able to make it off of it is always just what I look to. Like, I made it out.
Man, hearing this, like, let me start by saying this: nothing can prepare you for what you've been through. Right. You know, nothing physically, mentally, spiritually can prepare you for what you've been through.
Right.
But you know, as athletes, we do have moments throughout our journeys that stick with us forever. You know, was it ever anything about football or a game or a moment or Coach Tucson that when you transpire and you look back, you be like, you know what? That helped me before I even knew I was going to even be having this moment. There was ever a moment where he was like, that stuck with me and helped me get through this part.
Man, listen, so y'all was at the wedding. So my dad talked about, you know, how all the stuff that I've been through, it started when I was young, like playing for the Sharks or playing basketball. There was always somebody that was better than me. There was always somebody that was taller.
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. I think your mom actually said you was to start it off.
Yeah,
you was a
nephew,
preemie.
Yeah, I was born like 2.5 months early.
Yeah, let's start there.
I was born, I think, 4 pounds 2 ounces, and I was a preemie. I don't know. She knows the numbers like the back of her hand, but I know I was in the hospital for like 11 days before I got to go home, and the doctor said I would be slow, or like that, you know, mentally I wouldn't be like there with the rest of my class, and you know, I was able to graduate towards the top of my class. Yeah. So yeah, it started there. So adversity is something that I've always lived with. You know what I mean? But you know, with the Sharks, like, you make the position, you move up. It's your spot to lose, you know what I'm saying? But somebody always came along and was trying to push me, you know, take it away from me. Whether it was, you know, most of the years I was cool, but it was always somebody that was like, okay, we're gonna try both of y'all. Eventually, it was my spot. You know what I mean? Even like Shaquille, like me and him was like this. You know, even though he played receiver, but when I would go out of town, he would play quarterback. So he's taller than me. They're like, well, let's see, and I'm like, come on, man. Y'all know this is my spot. You know,
right?
High school. You know, I make it to high school. I'm a freshman. I'm 160 pounds, like 5'8". I'm not, you know, I'm not built for high school football yet. You know, especially you walking to see them dudes like that's, you know, Brandon Jackson. Like, this dude is in high school. Grown man. Exactly. So you know, you walk in. Even the dude that cut both our hair, James. Like, you know, he played for the Sharks. He's 6'3", you know what I mean? He's skinny, but he at least 6'3", you know what I mean? I don't have none of that, you know what I mean? But eventually we make it to my senior year, and I'm starting because of I keep working at it, you know what I mean? I wait for everybody to fall by the wayside, and then I come right in and I save the day. so to answer your question, like even basketball, like I feel like I gravitated more towards football because that's the sport where I felt most confident in. Like, we played basketball together against each other. Like, I was skilled, but I never felt like I was honestly on your level or on the level to where I could have played in like college. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna stick to football. Like, football, I feel I'm always a starter. I feel confident in this, so I'm gonna stick to that. But adversity is always showed itself.
Man, I'm sorry, but I think that's amazing. And it's really touching to hear that, to hear the fight that you had before you even knew what fighting was.
Right.
Yeah.
From the time that you was born early to having to always battle and going through, because that's a real thing. As athletes, having to battle against somebody for your spot, that can make or break your, that can make or break you. You feel me? But to hear that, and to know your story, and even for me to know it, I remember, talking to Treese all the time, and we still at K-State talking about high school football still, when he used to always say like, "You're Germaine." Man, he used to have all the mechanics. He was the perfect quarterback, but they used to always try to pitch such and such in front of him. Yeah. But it's just funny how God does things and pits certain battles on certain individuals to see them push through, because long before you knew that was going to happen when you was 25, God knew, and He was already preparing you from the jump.
That's what I was gonna say. It sounded like it helped you develop that mental toughness.
Mm-hmm.
So
it really did.
In the hospital, you was like, you know what I'm saying. So that day when you had that release, it was just that day you needed to release. But along it, you was trying to keep that, So that was something that you learned.
I got to keep a strong face on for my. So the way I break it down is, so at least in my mom's household, because that's where I lived at most of my life. So my stepdad Maceo, he's the breadwinner. He's the one. He's the hardworking man. My mom is the glue. She keeps the house in order. My sister Michelle, she's I always call her a hypochondriac, but she can be a little dramatic at times. She may be right, but she can be dramatic. My brother Aaron, I don't think he was mature enough yet for that to happen to him. And then my baby sister Kamaya, she's the baby. You transition that to my dad's house. My dad is the breadwinner. My stepmom Tammy she's the glue. And my baby sister, if I was 23, she was about 7 at the time. Like, nothing like that could have happened to her. That would have broke us, you know what I mean? So I was like, I could take this for my family to, if something had to happen to all of us, I can take it, because I'm the only one that's in a position to deal with it right now.
Yeah, that's dang, man, you trying to make me, I'm about to have to
know.
For real. But yeah, but
because I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, that's but also,
no, I'm laughing because so
it's touching. But even I think, and it's so powerful, because as Black men, we start learning at such a young age that it's to be emotionless, to push through, to be strong, and to hear that you was battling all of that, and you was literally to the point to where it was like, we need to talk about, if this doesn't work out, Jermaine, with your mom though, not just with the doctor. I'm talking having this conversation, a vulnerable just
me and her in the room
conversation with my mom. And just even hear then that you was still trying to be strong. I feel like, as Black men, we need to start pushing that fact of, it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to be expressive. It's okay to have releases and have moments, because you held on for so long, and then you finally had that moment. But, and I just feel like as Black men, again, if we start learning how to be more expressive and more emotional prior to the moments of where it's finally a release, it can possibly be beneficial for us, mentally, physically, spiritually.
And it doesn't mean you can't be strong through the process, but you know what I mean? Just being able to, just even having somebody to talk to about it. Like, especially with this, like, there's not a lot of people that go through this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, who do I talk to about this? Other than my doctor. Like, nobody. And so finding those people, getting involved with different support groups, or people that are going through the same things. I think that can be beneficial too.
Well, that was a lot. That was.
I mean, it definitely was a lot. And I could never like put like I never been through what you've been through. I definitely struggled with some health situations. And one day was cool, the next day go to the doctor, and now I'm in the hospital and stuff like that. And I know those moments where you like thinking about, it's not funny, but I remember, because I have a blood disorder and it's called ITP. But when I got admitted into the hospital, I remember being in a hospital bed and saying to God, like, if you let me out of here, I am literally gonna do like my purpose. I don't know what it is. Like I just don't want to, like, I don't want this to be it. Like, 'cause I didn't know what was going on. I got admitted to the blood disorder and cancer floor, and I had to get a bone marrow biopsy, and it was so many different things that was happening. And doctors coming in, and when they weren't coming in one at a time, they was coming in at 5 at a time, and it was just me and my mom. And I remember literally laying on the bed saying to myself, like, "Am I about to keep like not?" Because it was like it was blood related, and then there's a cancer floor, so I'm like, "Oh, this is," you start. You start tripping out and stuff like that. And like you said, power attorneys and stuff come in and they ask you, well, who, and then you looking at your mom. And I know for me, my mom like, well, let me call my aunt, let me call your aunt. And I'm like, it was a lot going on, but I can definitely like attest to how mentally and spiritually it can like literally scare you. I mean, really, because you seeing all of this going on. Yeah. So I know even for your mom to have to watch you through it and be there with you the whole 9, and you got to see a look on her face when they say certain things, when they do certain things, and she's not gonna tell you everything. She's trying to come in and give you hope. Right. So
she did a good job with that. She never really like showed it on her face. Like she would tell me about it later, but she never really showed it. And that's something I told her. I was like, look,
I'm real sensitive.
We're gonna. So I know we'll get into it again, but I need a heart transplant, so I'm going to have another open heart surgery to do that. And so I told her like, I need you to be strong, because if you look crazy, I'm gonna look crazy. Right. If it's written all over your face, you know what I mean. It's gonna affect me. So I'm like, even if you gotta wait for me to leave, if you gotta leave the room, you gotta wait till I'm going. Something like just hold on for me until you get a second, because I can't see you like that and expect myself to be okay. Right. You know what I mean?
So you still to this day gonna have to
this isn't done.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So now let's go to you. Yeah. Meeting him, being with him, finding this out, and being a support and just learning about it. What was that like for you? How is it for you? And
I think meeting him, I think he thought it was going to like surprise me. Like I remember he came in on our first date and he has this little book bag that he leaves by my door. And he's like, I know you're probably wondering why I got this book bag. And later on his mom was like, did you LVAD her to death? So just like telling me about his story. And I felt like that was just in hindsight. I remember just processing that whole season for us and just being like, that was an anointing thing too, because I had exposure. So my nephew actually has a really rare disease. So he, different than heart failure, but he would have to wear a little book bag too. And so like, I think in the ways that he expected to shock me, I had exposure, so I wasn't shocked. So I'm like, oh, my nephew wears a little book bag too. He got to take it everywhere with him too. And I just remember telling him like, I think thinking about how the nephew that I'm talking about actually is one that like the nephews that I'm the closest with. Mm-hmm. And I think about like, I want him to be able to fall in love one day. Like I want that not to be a barrier, for him. So his health disorder wasn't something that deterred me. I do remember eventually asking like, okay, but this is going somewhere. Are we going to be able to have sex one day? Like, I just need to know, He was like, yeah, my parts still work. It's like, it's an energy thing, but we'll figure it out. Still works. So that was important eventually. But something I can appreciate, that's just a God thing too. I remember his mom being like, she was like, Kima, I really feel like Germaine is safe with you. Like, you have such a desire to nurture him, or if he's not okay, like even us living together and waking up in the middle of the night, because for whatever reason in the summer our electric goes off randomly for like 10 seconds, but he's plugged in at night. So he wears this during the day, and at night he is literally plugged into a machine for his heart's sake. So if that machine goes off in the middle of the night, it's beeping like, hey, something's not
screaming.
Right.
So like right now, even when you go to sleep, that's plugged
up.
Yeah,
he's plugged in every night. So that machine, even while we're dating, is going off, and I hop up like, babe, wake up. Change your batteries, So I give him, and as you'll hear his mom so much, but she was such a intricate part of his story and going through that. I wasn't around during that part. But her faith and just her stepping in, I felt like, I told them that I was like, y'all don't give me the space to be scared. Like when I came into the story, like I am very sensitive, and my family has had its own set of trauma. My sister has been through a traumatic surgery at a young age too, where we also have to talk about life and death. So in parallel ways, we have experienced some things, but I'm not necessarily the one who's experiencing it, but it's been around me. And so I was like, if I step into this, I have a responsibility to come with that same level of faith, with that same level of nurturing, with that same level of like, you know, making sure he's going to be okay. And so I really appreciated that she was just like, for a long time, part of my anxiety as a mom was like, I don't know, like he had previous females around and she's like, them girls ain't gonna do nothing for you if something was to happen, you know? So I appreciated that she trusted his well-being. That was important to me, like that you can trust his well-being with me. So I thank God for that. I think that's another like anointing piece. And then even as we move forward, you know, people ask us a lot, like he said, he's a part of an organization, Lifeline of Ohio, and they're so big about support. And so always when we do something, they pull me aside and they go, are you okay? Like as the caretaker, as his wife. And I think because he's so strong, like, again, I can match his energy in those moments, but I don't think about the like what ifs in the same way that I've done in my own anxiety. Like his family makes you level up on your faith.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So I'm so appreciative for that. But I think, I don't know. I do think about my role. I told him when he told me like, I can't have you in there being all sad and stuff. Like I need you to be strong. And I've had to tell him, I thank God for this too. Like my own agency, like, babe, my strength might not look like your mom's. Like my strength, I might be crying, I'm gonna be praying. And like, this is what it looks like for me. I'm going to have your back and you have to trust that too, authentically. And so that has been, I think, my prayer. Even like when we first started dating, he was scared to have kids. I remember he eventually just got raw with me and was like, I'm nervous. Like, I still got to go through like a really tough heart procedure. And like, I don't know that I'm be on the floor and be able to crawl like with the kids and stuff at that initial stage. And like, here we are 3 years later, having a baby, you know, and I think he's up for the challenge. And like, we picked the hospital where his heart doctor is so that, Lord forbid, you know, not even forbid, we just don't know. We might get that call for him to get his heart, you know, and I just want us all to be together as a family. So I think it definitely impacts us, but I think we both are like, we can't put our life on pause. We're going to choose joy. We're going to choose faith. And we're going to enjoy everything that we have access to.
Can't put it on hold.
Yeah. So that was people's advice too. Yeah. Like, don't y'all want to wait? That's going to be a lot. Like if he gets his heart and you're having a baby and da-da-da-da, but we're just like, we don't, you know, God will have to make all that work out. And that's kind of where we are with it.
Yeah. That's amazing. It wasn't just that I was like scared to have kids. I didn't know if I could.
Yeah.
Like, so I've had open heart surgery. So much has happened to me. I really don't know if I can or not. So like the excitement when I found out she was pregnant, I'm like, because we were trying. Like,
since we got married.
6 o'clock on.
like the eggs should drop right now. You're like,
he was like, you want to try to put your leg up like this?
Let it get down.
So yeah.
But no, like, so when, you know, when she told me, when she, you know, when I found out she was pregnant, it was like, it was a sigh of relief for me. Like, man, like, I'm good. Like, you can, that's another weight off your shoulders. So.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I think that's amazing. And I'm, you know, again, with this being my brother, I just want to tell you thank you, you know, because again, knowing him all my life, I wouldn't want nobody else in his life outside of you, because you're doing an amazing job at holding it down.
Thank you.
And being an amazing, beautiful wife. And I'm just appreciative of that, because I know it can be challenging, because again, our relationships, man, they're similar. Like, you know, they're similar. Like what you've been through, and then, you know, we haven't even, you know, and that's for another day, but what she goes through as far as her health concerns, and me having to be that person kind of that you are for him, I have to kind of be that person for her. And y'all experiencing this stuff at young ages. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so are we. You know? So it's like, no one taught us how to do this. No one taught us how to be husbands and wives, and then take on the husband and wife roles. Now we're being mental supporters, physical supporters, spiritual supporters. So it's like, I think kudos to all of us. I think we all doing an amazing job.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think we all doing an amazing job. Yeah, because I know it can definitely, you know, be a lot, for sure.
And I'm not like, I mean, I know I'm pregnant, but you know, just the Holy Spirit and just being grateful for like, just where you are and having a person to like really be there for you, because it do be a lot, you know, like you was wondering if y'all could have kids. I was wondering that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't just have a blood disorder either. You know what I'm saying? Like lupus. But I don't talk about that. And just having those moments where you got somebody where like, that's how I knew that God placed him in my life, because he just was always there. And to like hear you say like, it didn't even intimidate you. I was wondering that with Q in the beginning, like you don't want to leave me. It's not too much.
It has to, you have to make sure that the person actually, you know, is okay with all of that stuff. You know what I mean? And I commend you, because as men, we're not always that as nurturing. You know what I mean? This is her. She's the oldest sister out of a total of 8 siblings. So you know, I'm the oldest as well. So naturally, we take that role on. But you know, women are always more nurturing than men. So I definitely commend you for being nurturing to her as well, because it's not easy, man. Like.
And making her feel safe. And I know that like with Germaine, like I am a scaredy cat, but it is something, I don't know. And he tells people all the time, he knows. And I had never really, it reminds me of my mom used to say, when you have kids, because I'm so sweet tempered and I'm just really kind with folks. And she was like, when you have kids, it's going to pull out a different side of you. And I think Germaine, it wasn't having a kid. It was having somebody who I felt like I fiercely had to protect. And it, like you said, it's not always like, no, I'm not about to be out and I'm not about to fight you. Like, oh, not in that way, but like spiritually, emotionally, how is he doing? You know, like I felt like he had shared, you know, like previous females saying stuff. And I'm just like, I just respect his integrity and I respect his character so much. And that's where like that protection comes from, like him and his entire well-being. And I had never experienced anything like that, even as a big sister, prior to being in a relationship with him.
And I think that's crazy though, again, how God be doing things before y'all even knew each other. You know, you had already, well, at that time, maybe y'all did know each other from middle school, but you still had to experience the moment, you know, what you said, your nephew.
That's what I was going to say.
And how God is already, you know, like you said, I've already seen that little book bag, Germaine. So go ahead and tell me what's going on. I know. You ain't got to just leave it at the book. You ain't got to leave it at the book.
Probably wondering what that little book like. I didn't think about your book bag, boy.
God didn't already, you know, God, we together for a reason. He didn't already made this happen. I didn't already had to go through this. So I know. I just find it funny, you know, how God be really showing his sovereignty and showing his work and showing how he really is in control of things, even when we don't even know it.
Because when you said the book bag thing, well, it was just like with your nephew, you were saying that like you looked at him like you want him to have love. So I feel like with that made you look, you know, like it you literally said, you know, like just wanting that for him. It's like, so then you become that person for somebody that's experiencing a similar situation or just a situation in general. I just think it is so beautiful, because I know it got to be hard to be on the support end of it, because you got to have faith even when they have not we don't, or you know, people who are in a situation don't. And it's like, I know it could be hard. I know it can really be hard. So it's like, for sure, kudos to, like you said, all of us, for real. But just, you know, just the support, because I know it's hard.
And I was going to ask you, like, and because I know Germaine, of course, is supportive, but I was going to also ask you, but you kind of answered it when you were speaking, and you said his group is also very supportive of you. I was going to ask you, like, who can you lean on kind of when it's like, okay, Jermaine's going through something right now. I don't want to put extra stress on him. Who can I lean on to help me get through this moment for the both of us?
That's a really good question. I think I'm really, really blessed because, like I said, one, like, literally as we were talking, I remembered, like, me and his mom, we got a call right before the wedding, actually, that it was like a 30-day opportunity for him to move up in his status. So his status would increase. I think you're what, level 3 or 4?
So let me explain that real quick. So
quickly,
with the LVAD, it's there's statuses, or on a transplant list of statuses. So 1 is like, I need it right now. 2 is like maybe a week to a month. 3 is somebody who has a malfunctioning LVAD, and then 4 is people who are healthy with LVAD. So I'm status 4 right now. In that, at a certain point, you get to be status 3 for 30 days. And that just means the possibility of getting the call is higher.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
that happened right before the wedding. So another curveball, like if he gets his heart transplant, he has to recover, et cetera, et cetera. So me and his mom are like at church going in, just worshiping and just like, God, we trust you, just trying to get ourselves mentally and spiritually prepared for that possibility. And so, like I said, coming into his family, like they already got a tone set. So I had to meet that tone. So she is always someone who I can speak to. Like just his family in general, but also I have my own support system. Again, I've been through my own traumas and over time, God has helped me to develop a strong community as well. So, my mom, my sisters, just even when they found out we were dating and they finally realized like, okay, I like him and he's a good person, et cetera, et cetera. And they were like, what about that heart? Oh my gosh, Kima, don't do that. What about his heart? Like just always on edge, but also in this protective and this really caring way. And so I just know like if we did get called, my mom would probably call me every day to make sure she could be my strength so that I could be his strength.
That's dope. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That is dope.
And her family has been super supportive as well. Like, they ask questions, but it's, anything that I've ever needed from them, they're always there. And that's just how they are. Like they're very supportive of each other. So,
but the matter of it, even as I'm just sitting here, I don't know, just Holy Spirit, like it's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like this, it's crazy. It's like it's taken care of. It's like nothing to worry about. So it's like y'all got the right family, the right people, the right support. Y'all relationship with the Lord is like it's taken care of. We just walking it out. Yeah. That's literally what it is. We just walking it out. It's nothing to even worry about. Like I mean, because that's just the physical part of it. Right. But the spiritual part is that it's taken care of. So we good, literally.
And a lot of time people ask, how did you get through it, through all of that? And I was like, as cliche as it may be, you really have to let go and let God. Like it's a saying, but once you're in it, like once you're in something that you have no control over, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Take my heart out and switch it out? You know what I mean? Like I have no control over this, so I really have to. That I think being in there, I've always been a believer and trusted in God, but then it was like I have no choice but to, So I grew really close with God while I was in the hospital, and it was like.
That to you.
Yeah, it's just like
sure, right. Nobody else.
I was like, there's nothing else to lean on but God. So I was like, I just try to continue in that. Like there is nothing else. Yeah. That's all I have.
Just trusting. Yeah. That was kind of what I was talking to God about this morning. Just like this morning, because it's like you love God, God, you believe in God, but the trust part is the part.
Yes, Lord.
And you gotta think about His faithfulness. His faithfulness is things that He did prior, and all these different things. And it's like
all the good stuff that's happened in my life.
That's what I was about to say.
Because that's what we was talking about this past week, as far as just the pregnancy part of it.
I was just about to say that as well.
I always tell her that I don't know, and maybe I do know somebody now, but I was gonna say I don't know nobody that got more of God's favor and grace over their life.
Yes,
but and because she tends to, and she's getting a lot better, but she look at things and be like, moments of where it's like, okay, God, how are we gonna get through this? And I have to tell her like, well, God got you through the last time, right? God got you through the time before that. God got you, and then He always on time. It never fails. He's never failed short of any blessing that you may have needed, and He's never wasn't on time. He always delivered. And so to say the same thing with you as far as leaning on God, it's been the same thing since you was in your mom's womb. Right. Literally, God has always been in control and always made sure that you was straight. And I truly wholeheartedly believe that He's going to continue to do so, and that He want to continue to see you walk this battle out. And when that time permits itself and you ready, then He's going to deliver for you. Yeah, for sure. It's going to be on His timing, but it's on the way for sure.
Yeah, we have so many examples.
There's so many parallels. I know. I'm like, I'm thinking about what you told me with the baby. I'm thinking about even like us wanting to move. And Germaine is like, how much favor God has shown us. Like we can very well.
It's crazy every turn, man. Like taxes. Like we found a tax person that put us in a great position for that wedding. You know what I mean? Like man, it's everything. Like God is right on time. My job,
I'm over here. I'm sorry. This episode is the first episode where I'm over here just I can't even keep it together. My nose.
But like I said, like all the good stuff that's happened in my life post the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Like I found my wife. I've you know, I think as you get older, your dream job changes, but my dad was able to help me fund a food truck. I started, you know, I was able to run a business. You know, we had a beautiful wedding. My job now, I'm teaching culinary arts at a high school. The high school that I went to, like, I'm coaching football for the same organization that I came up in. Like, I can't ask for nothing else.
Let go and let God and reap the benefits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's literally what he's talking about.
And reap the benefits.
You got to pay attention to what he did.
Yeah.
Just in general, because like you said, like, just because you're going through something like a health situation or whatever the case, that don't mean you different. Like in a sense of like,
and it don't mean he different.
That's what I'm about to say. Like it doesn't mean like something is wrong with you or you just it's like everything still work for me the way that it would work for you. I'm probably a little bit more, you know, I'm a little God's favorite. You know what I'm saying? That's just the truth. So I was gonna ask you how I feel to be God's favorite, Jermaine.
Your mom always say that.
My mom says that all the time. Like
all the time.
Anything, I'll be like, well, Mom, I don't know. She was like,
now you know.
Now you know,
Like, you are.
And
God's
so, like I was telling her with our
favorite.
apartment, you know, I didn't really want to decorate our spare room because I'm like, you know, we're trying to move out. You know, we're trying to move to another place, and I'm like, I was like, you know, all the favor God has shown us, He might call us tomorrow, and we'd be moved out of here. We'd have painted this room, and so it's like it's little
That's
stuff,
cute.
man.
That's funny though.
Yeah.
Like,
Little stuff.
No, I ain't trying to, because maybe God.
Yeah, like at this point, it's like, why am I surprised though?
Yeah.
Why am I surprised? It's happened time after time after time.
I mean, I said this on a previous episode, but you know, it just goes to show that, you know, God really does give His toughest battles to His strongest soldiers.
Yeah, for sure.
And you two being right here, going through what y'all done been through at the ages that y'all done been through. It, you know, it's super honorable, and it's, you know, just it's amazing that y'all able to continue fighting and persevere and wear it good like y'all wear it, because y'all both are doing a truly great job for sure.
I feel like I'm a little bit more emotional through the process, but it's still a blessing though. It's still a blessing. I'm not gonna lie, because like I said, just sitting here with you and just hearing your story and you know, stuff like that.
And I you know, I feel like I am strong. I'm very humble, so I don't like to, you know, well, I do sometimes. But, you know, I took that on the chin. You know what I mean? But it's, you know, I was given the strength to do that. You know what I mean? And I don't take that for granted. So I just, you know, even the people in my life are like, you know, they hold me up too. But I definitely love to say that I've become more of a strong person, and you know, partially because I've had to, but you know, it's God written all over me.
For sure.
Know?
Right.
And you know, I haven't did this, but I want to give a shout out to all of your. I want to give a shout out to your mom. I love her. I think honestly,
she was one of the first people that knew that we was pregnant.
She was one of the first people to know that she was pregnant, and she was happy.
I think she knew before I did.
She did.
She made know we was like, no. She was like, okay, I gotta keep this for real. Oh my God. Yeah.
And I don't know. We was just. I don't know how the conversation even came about, baby. I don't know. But
people say that to her all the time. That they just be drawn to her. She was like, people sit in my office.
She has a chair in her office, and people will sit in that chair, just come over, and they'll sit in that chair, and they'll spill their whole life story.
She's warming, bro. She's very warming. So that's why I wanted to say shout out to your mom, shout out to your pops. You know, just seeing him probably like 2 weeks ago, like one of the previews. Shout out to Ted, you know, everybody, because you know, again, I've really known you all of my life.
Right. Yeah.
From the time that we was this big, and I stopped playing football because I broke my elbow, and I was just coming to support. Like, I'm cool. Y'all can do that. Catch me at Northeast. I'm gonna stick with basketball. I come and support y'all and all that. So, you know, that's man, for real. Like, very, 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 very. I don't know. I'm just touched by all the memories that we have, and to be sitting here with each other is just amazing. And even. We skipped the fact that we went to Wright State, but we won't even get on all of that. You know, we went through college together.
I don't think we want to hear it.
We'll talk about that when we go out to eat after this.
But you know what? To not get too deep into that, but y'all don't even know like that time in my life. Like, you know, I ended up transferring to UC, and really it was because, you know, even though we've known each other our whole lives, we weren't in the same like crew. Right. You know what I mean? Greg, Dre, Wayne, that was my crew. Yeah. You know, Rob. So, and they were at UC. So I'm like, it would be points where I'm like, man, I want to be around my guys again. But y'all don't even know that y'all taught me how to be by myself. Like being comfortable with being by myself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like an outsider sometimes. You know what I mean? And it wasn't intentional on y'all's part, but I wasn't part of the crew. Right. Like, you know what I mean? Y'all was the only people I knew down there and vice versa. So it was like, I'm just hanging around them. Now, again, we've known each other for our whole lives, so I was comfortable, but it would be sometimes I'd be like, I miss my friends. Like, you know what I mean? My crew. Yeah. But I learned how to be by myself in that. So thank y'all for that. You know what I mean? Like, that's even vital. You know, just I got to college. I'm like, I go sit in the restaurant by myself to this day. And I was like, I was so uncomfortable with doing that until I had to. And I was like, being in the right state taught me that. It'd
be life lessons and everything because, again, even that moment at Wright State when we was there, you know, and I went to Kentucky State the next year, but I learned so many life lessons in that spur, that short time period that seemed to be so long from everything that was going on. I learned so many life lessons to where when I went on to Kentucky State, I was able to be a whole different, mature young man to help, and which helped me play basketball and eventually graduate. Because when I was at Wright State, I don't foresee me having graduated from that university, you know. But I think, you know, we got a game that we want to play with y'all, you know, to lighten the mood.
Lighten the mood. I'm over here. I cannot.
This story is heavy, man. That's when I reached out to you. I was like, you know, I got a story to tell, like, and it is heavy, you know what I mean? But it just shows
it's one that need to be told, though. It's one that need to be told.
Because just think about how many people experiencing what you're experiencing, or not even that, just having an experience with health. Okay, right. So we just talking health. We talking about the spiritual battles, the mental battles, the physical battles. Everybody's different. Like I said, mine's is not even yours. I had to go through my own little thing, but I can't. I ain't went through what you went through, right? But people still need to know, like, okay, when you going through those situations, like how to get through them. Because at the end of the day, somebody in your family, somebody that you know, or even if it's gonna be you, gonna experience something like that, and they can, you know, learn from something like that. Like, okay, you seeming, even as you're talking about it, you real chill about it, but it's like it's so much more to it. Just the mental aspect, the questions that you have, like you say, you sit there and think, dang, is this my last time? You know what I'm saying? Then it's like the treatments you got to get. That's a whole different ball game as far as even when you land in the bed and you got to get this treatment. You just said you got these, being allergic to certain medicine. Like, people need to know that, you know what I'm saying? Because there's so many people that go through it and they feel alone. Because I know I felt alone a couple of times. I ain't care who had what going on. You ain't going through what I'm going through. You ain't feeling how I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? But to know, like, no matter what health situation you go through, you know what I'm saying? This happens, but this is how you can overcome, or this, just being aware of it, I guess, more so. So I feel like it's important. Your story gonna always be important, no matter what.
Super important. And again, I want to say y'all went through something at a young age. Right. Like you was on a cancer and blood disorder floor. And I'm going in there, you know, and I'm never speaking on this. I'm just observing, still trying to be strong for her. But, you know, next to her, while she's getting her blood transfusion or platelet transfusion, is an 80-year-old, 76-year-old, 50-year-old. Everybody's old. And then you see her. So it's 50, 60, 70, 80, 50, 20. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? So you got 20.
Even now.
Yeah. So it's like y'all going through something at a young age to where y'all gonna change so many lives. It's really amazing.
Right. Yeah. Even the nurses though, like, they want to be in my room because I'm calm. I'm chill. You know what I mean? They got the 80-year-old next door.
I want to cuss them out.
Yeah, cussing them out. You know what I mean? And even like being in the ICU, like across the hall, somebody died across the hall while I was there. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's funny because that night, my heart did something weird. It was like it started beating like super fast to the point where it was ringing off on the thing. Now I'm sitting there like I don't really feel it, but it's happening. Nurses rush in. They're like, okay, you know, tell you what to do. And my aunt was like, that was the angel of death, going from room to room and checking in with you, like trying to seeing if it was time for you. And it was like, Not today.
Right, not today, brother.
Not today.
I'm sorry, homie, across the hall. Right, we ain't in here.
Like this room anointed, everybody in it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was about to say, another thing, what I was learning, I'm pretty sure you can see this too, when I was around those older people having to get these treatments and stuff like that, it did have you value life a little bit more because although it might be some little crazy ones, the ones that I was next to, they were so happy.
Yeah.
And a lot of them had to come, twice or just every day of the week to get dialysis and all these different things. But they were so grateful and so happy to be alive, which made me feel more grateful. Right. In those moments where I'm like, I can't really trip because she here. But all I will think about is, dang, I am only like 20-something here, and I'm the only, and even to the point where they all looking at me, and everybody want to know what's going on with me
shocked.
because you are so young. What are you?
Right.
What's going on with you?
Right.
and I'm like,
oh, it's just heart failure.
I just gotta get a platelet transfusion, oh my God, it's crazy. So it's like, even in those moments, going in there and being the youngest person and having to be hooked up to these machines, but it makes you grateful because you see these people who situation could be possibly worse, but you just like, I don't know, it gave me a little bit more faith, like I'm gonna get through this. I'm the youngest, but
I'm gonna be all right.
I'm all right. I'm gonna get out of here.
It made me feel like I was more not prepared for it, but like my body is younger. Like I am. Again, back then I was like, I feel like I'm in my physical prime. Like this is the only thing that's wrong. Like I can get through this. You know what I'm saying? So
I do want to talk about. I know we gotta lighten the mood. But y'all don't let me forget this, because I'll forget this, because this is something that I feel like everybody we would need to talk about. The mental aspect of like continuous thoughts that you've had throughout the process. We can't forget about that, because I know there's a lot of people that experience, like even just with pregnancy, we know we had short amount of conversation, like, girl, I experienced that. I just want people to know like what the thoughts could possibly look like and what they'll be like, and kind of how we got through it. So we could lighten the mood, but we could go back to that.
You want to go back to the dark side?
I mean, it's not that. It's just that I wanted to be like informant. I just wanted to like, because like you said, one of the things that I could relate with you with was just thinking like, dang, am I about to die? Like, am I about to get up out of here? Like, and having that spirit of fear is so heavy on me, like just and anxiety, and just like you said, looking at other people in the room with you, like, man, like they trying to be strong for you. You really low key think I'm about to die too, so so you just in here, and you like you don't want nobody to. You just like, and you think about the ways like, dang, that's not how I'm trying to go. I want to talk about that just because I know that it's somebody that could be in a hospital bed having these thoughts, and you could just. We can talk about how like the more normal thoughts, but this is how you combat it. That's all I'm saying. Why you talking about?
I mean,
I'll
keep
it
brief. Part 2 for that.
God is shining his light on us. Like, look, he been in here. He just start shining. So we can lighten the mood, but we definitely.
I need you to do your timer.
I'm sorry, y'all. It's too much. This is too good. This is too good. All right. Okay.
So this will be
the first part 2.
We got to do a part 2. I don't know if this is a this or that. This might be considered a you or her. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So me, like okay, y'all catch on. So
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Per usual.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, go.
First to say I love you.
Her, I think.
It was me.
Okay.
But I said
it was a rational thing. I was rationalizing.
Really
I'm going to say this.
I got 30 seconds. Who's the bigger baby?
Him. No.
Me. More likely to plan a date.
Her.
More likely to spoil the baby.
He'll have the better date.
Probably me.
Better cook. Quicker temper.
Me.
More likely to cuss your daughter's teacher out there.
Me.
You think so?
Which team really won the dance battle at the wedding?
Us.
And then who wants more kids?
Him.
Probably me. I think we're even though. Like 2 to 3 is probably good.
That wasn't what you were saying at first.
Don't look at me.
That's not what I was saying at first.
You want to get 4?
I said 4. I was like, we got to be in a good financial place to be to get 4. But I was like,
I
2.
didn't even think about finances. I'm thinking about carrying it and pushing out of it.
Listen, once you get pregnant, that's why I told him, I said, you stop speaking on how many we have. Are you carrying these kids?
I always told him, I said,
fair.
I'm like, God got to get me through this first one. But
listen,
but God been doing so good. I'm like, oh, he trying to set me up too. She been doing me good.
That's good.
So I'm like, okay, now I gotta see how this delivery go.
Well,
you know, but it's like he won't, like, I know he want more. I'm cool. I can't say I'm cool.
Well, I mean, I think we both want our boy now, for sure.
Absolutely. And I hope that we can provide that. Lord willing, I hope he gets his boy, and then we're probably gonna be okay. The third one on Samo, we're having a great time. The Lord saw this for us.
Just so happy.
But I'll be content with our boy and girl.
But I don't think at this point, I don't think either one of us want to go over 3.
I ain't a football person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, we already in sync now, so we have a boy. Gotta be around the same time.
So I mean, because we give it, the cheerleader on the way.
Exactly.
Now we do need that.
But he wanted the cheerleader first. Did you want a girl first, or you wanted a boy first?
I wanted the boy first.
And you wanted a girl?
Yes.
Okay.
I just believed it was never that I wanted a girl. I just believed I was having a girl. I had like dreams of like whenever I'm gonna be a mom, I always saw that it was a girl, and then like we already knew our daughter's name. Like we had some sons and daughter names picked out, and I saw her name all throughout the entire pregnancy.
Too. Really?
So I was like, I'm pretty certain.
I'm sorry, y'all. We forgot. We started going back again.
We come bearing gifts.
Oh, y'all are so precious.
Hold on.
He done messed up the flowers. I be dang.
Cut real quick. We all family. So actually, I wanted to give this to you, Kima, for you being such an amazing wife, support system to my brother, everything that you do.
Thank you.
You deserve these flowers right here. So those go for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, babe.
They cute too.
They are
this
cute.
This goes to both of y'all.
Just for our baby girl. Y'all are so sweet and precious.
I would say we should have did more. Because now I feel like I need to look now.
You too, baby. It's okay. A lot of.
We'll go ahead and just we want to see y'all open it. Y'all.
Okay. All right.
You can open it, babe. I gotta pee. It's pregnancy.
Just some nice the time is on the way.
Amen. For her little
I'm gonna just have a brick wall of them up.
Oh, guys, it's gonna make me cry. This is our first baby outfit.
It says butterfly kisses.
Oh, that's so sweet.
We just want to do
thank
something.
y'all, man. We appreciate that.
Man, I'm just thankful to kind of be going through this, experience with y'all. We're newlyweds together.
Yes.
We're about to be
newlywed
parents together. Yes. So we can learn so much from each other.
Wait a year. Y'all didn't wait a year.
Nah, we didn't, did we? Our time.
No, y'all didn't. We've been married.
We've been married.
Right.
We had our wedding, but we've been married. Y'all didn't wait no year.
But what's crazy is everybody ask you like, everybody, and y'all ain't waste no time. It's like,
actually, we have. Actually, yeah.
Dang.
But yeah.
Hold on, y'all been married. So what is it now?
We got married February. It'll be 2 years married in February.
Yeah, so we still, but y'all weren't married a year before y'all got pregnant. Oh yes, y'all was.
Yeah, they was.
You right. We did get married the same year, but ours was in July. Y'all was in February.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
and then we had our wedding in June the next year. So it was very like, oh dang. But like he said, we really probably like March. We got married in February. Probably March. We was like, I know we got this wedding coming up, but you want to just be open? And that's what it was. It was just open.
Yeah. But so, with approaching this new journey in y'all's life, with this, I guess it's hard to say what does it look like right now, but what do y'all foresee it looking like, parenthood?
What you think, babe?
I mean, this is something you think about, for forever, you know what I mean? So for me, I think just in my mind, I always envisioned me having a boy first, and I've had to change that to, okay, you're having a girl. So being loving, being understanding, being
we talk about that a lot.
Being kind of softer. Like I feel like I have.
Bro, we gotta wipe a different way now.
Yeah,
bro.
I figured that out.
What you mean now? It's always been that way. We gotta wipe a different way now. You said we gotta wipe.
We learning together, man.
So I'm gonna let you know how it go my first time, so I can let you know, man, what don't to do, because I know I'm gonna mess up and get yelled at.
Man, so but it's all of that stuff. Because like now you're dealing with a little girl, you know what I mean? So I've always I wanted a boy and a girl, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have daddy's little princess, you know what I mean, and just being who she needs me to be, you know what I mean, and being softer, like. Because the boy, it's the whistle. We ready to go by 4. Like 4 years old. Let's get it. But just trying to be more understanding, and I think being a teacher now, having a lot of girl students is kind of helping me with that too. So
that empathy piece, I don't know. Like I said, I wanted a girl. I feel so in love already. I think especially us finally knowing that she is a girl. Mm-hmm. I want her to feel safe. I think that's really important, and I want us to be a strong unit. I said my life is probably about to forever change. I'm a sleeper, y'all. I don't know about that, but but I'm excited for what's to come. I wanted this for a long time, and I'm grateful God saw fit for this season for us to get started.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
beautiful. I'm happy. Shoot, our time is coming in
real quick.
She is here.
We're gonna get through the holidays, maybe, and then she'll be here.
Hopefully, I'm not in there on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Man, I showed her, or I read to her the message that you sent me as far as what did the message say?
It gave right steak days.
No. Babe, what was you saying?
What message was it? You said,
it gave.
I can't remember how you worded it. I would have to go through it, but you pretty much said, the ones who've had their fair share or have fun or something you said.
I said I haven't had a more exciting past.
Yeah, exciting past.
Always get girls first, so I was like,
babe, please.
But I'm looking forward to, that scene that on, what's that, Friday After Next? No, not Friday, Bad Boys.
With Will Smith and Martin.
We gonna be able to do that together.
Oh my God.
We're going to school together.
Yeah. We gonna be able to do that together.
But it's dope.
You look 30.
I think it's dope because even just like the people that God has placed around us, like even there's so many people that we know that have kids and married. Like it's like we in a different community now.
I was literally gonna say, we've been here this whole time in the car. I was just like, all I want to say, I'm gonna be quiet. I promise after this, but just community. Like I thank God so much, even from like us having our child, and we was always worried like, man, my friends had kids young, so I'm like, and just being like, God, you again, how faithful are you that my baby girl's gonna have a good community? Like it's all these little girls, who, and like you said, their parents love God, they love just having fun, like who have similar values. So I'm just like, oh, I'm so excited dope, for this.
That's
yes.
So dope. And then with us being married, we get to really experience God's love and covenant, like when it comes to like bearing child. So like everything that we experience, even like now, just embrace. I'm gonna tell you this, just embrace and enjoy just the joy that comes with carrying. Because the enemy is literally after pregnant women and stealing their joy. Wow. I've experienced it, but just embrace this moment because it's like you get to do it with your significant other. Yeah. And on top of that, it's like no discredit to anybody else, or people who had kids with, with people that they're not married with. We get to experience something totally different. Right. And it's really just God's love. So just in these moments, even when it's when your back hurt, you're tired, you're hungry.
Yes, Lord.
It's just something to be grateful for because you got a support that's gonna help you through it, and that's what matters. Like,
it's something that I've been not struggling with, but making sure I'm mindful of is that obviously, like we've talked about, I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot of stuff. I've been through surgeries and hospital stays, but a lot of stuff that's happening with her, it's like, okay, you got this. Like this always been my mindset. Like you got this. Like I don't want to compare my story to hers, to what she's going through. It's like I've been through it. You got this. Like I'm making sure that I'm, supporting her how she needs it. Yeah,
that's a real thing.
And I feel like even me she always says I'm a terrible coach because I'm like similar to you, and we're men. We've been athletes, and how the era that we was brought up in was like, push forward, get up, go, get up, go again. So I've had to learn. I'm still learning how not to be as you can do this. Keep going.
Right.
You got, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It is a way of being supportive and still saying you got this, but it's also a more nurturing way, I guess, of what you said, a more nurturing way of going about it, because it's not always, baby, if I tell her to run a mile, well, no, you know what? Run the extra half a mile again.
Right, move the line backwards.
Let me see how much you really want this.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? But that's what we used to, so that's what
exactly.
so I've had to learn that as well, as how just be more nurturing and a better coach.
I think, like, because he do an awesome job.
Absolutely.
But, like, they do an awesome job, especially in your own way.
Yeah.
But it's also, too, like, just like we'll never know how it feel to be a man, y'all never know how it feel to be a woman, especially carrying a child. So it just be like, he made me feel like Superwoman, but at the same time, it's also that thing where it's like, well, do I get any like pregnant moments or any pregnant, you know what I'm saying?
Some grace.
Like,
I need some grace.
Like, because at this point, he like, baby, you can do it. And I'm like, but I'm tired. I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? And then he'll come. You don't gotta do nothing.
Yeah.
You need to walk. I'm like, what is? I'm like, I tell her,
Jermaine, you need some fresh air. You know, you probably feel better if you get out that bed. Like,
I'm like, bro, like
I'm hurting.
That's what I had to try to show him or send him stuff. Like, I'm not, because he think I'm dramatic, so that's what it is.
I tell him all the time, stop gaslighting me. This is real dramatic. You've gotten so much better, babe. But at the beginning,
I'm serious.
I would be like, this is a real experience.
This is real. So I had to, like, it'd be so funny because it's something that I'm experiencing. I had to send it to him off of TikTok or Instagram. Like, look, like, and he was like, that's so, this is what women are. Yes, all of us, like.
But we must all fall into that, because it be stuff like, it's like super early on. And like, are you?
Maybe you heard somebody say that. Like,
no, definitely, that's what's up though. So like you said, you just gotta learn how to be little, and just and then God gonna show you too. So
absolutely,
and just listen. That's all I can say. Because even if it ain't that big of a deal to you, like,
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. Because like I was telling Q, I was contracting one time, and he was just like, man, you good? You know, like, he told me, we go get it like a little non-stress test. I'm contracted. He told me, chill out. We had to end up going to the hospital to like, because they thought she was trying to, you know, they checked my cervix. It was like 31 or 32 weeks, but he tried to like downplay it. But I'm like, I told you I was contracted.
I told you.
He's like, you good. So you just gotta be
she started tripping in there. We was doing the test. They came in there like, yeah, you're contracting. So then she started tripping, talking about she got a boo-boo, and talking about you know, I'm like, that's what I'm like, hey, chill out, because if I was your doctor, you saying all this, I do have to, you know, take the next step to make sure that you okay. So we ended up at the labor and delivery. And that was a funny day. That was cool, man.
Oh my goodness.
It's fun though, y'all. But
it is.
We gotta wrap up?
So have y'all? We do, but I do want to. So the ultrasounds, like, how has that been for y'all? What was that like when y'all had y'all's very first ultrasound and y'all seen that very small little gray dot
nugget,
that they be acting like, you see this baby? No, it's a gray dot.
It's like
I don't see nothing.
It literally looks like a bean. I feel both ways. I don't know if you can relate to this, Yaya, but I'm just gonna be transparent. I was so excited leading up to the ultrasound, because it's like, this is real. If we get there and they see, you know, everything, this is real. And then you'd have like that darn whole day before we got to the appointment, I was so anxious. And so it's interesting moments, even for like, we just had our anatomy scan last week. Same thing. So excited, looking forward to that appointment. And then that day of, I found myself having to fight anxiety. But I think it doesn't take away from, to your point, it just being so special, and just being like I felt like I was watching her little character last time. She's like laying on my placenta, and I don't know nothing. So I'm asking the doctor, like, what's that thing right there that what's she laying on? And they're like, that's your placenta. And the baby girl is just like laying like this, you know? So, and then watching her little booty crack, her little booty cheeks just flip. And so I feel like we get to see the character, especially at this point now, of our daughter. And so I think that's really special.
Yeah. And then for me, I don't know if it's the same way where y'all go, but I'm like, they don't care about the dad. Like, they barely say hi to me when I'm in there. But I was excited, and it was just like, you know, something that she was really like nervous about and worried about was, you know, just not telling anybody, because she didn't want anything to be wrong. And so finally getting there, seeing that right now everything is there's life, okay. Everything is okay. It was able to be like a weight off for her. For so sure. I was really happy about that. But just to be, it's like, wow, this is really happening. Like, you know, you think about life without kids, just like, I'm responsible for somebody for the rest of my life.
And to Yaya's point, like, it's just beautiful because Germaine be so excited, and because he's my partner, like it feels like, oh my gosh, we made this together. Like when he's happy, I'm happy too, but it feels really, really good. Now my partner, like the baby's dad, is also so eager, and like he sends the pictures before I do. We get in the car, all the family group chats got the pictures.
I'll be on the same thing.
Yes, he didn't record it. I didn't even know he had his phone out.
We just did that yesterday. But, you know, I think two things, because I know we are going into our first few appointments, you know, because we had a miscarriage, you know, our first time, and that we wasn't planning on having a baby then. It just, you know, it happened. She was, you know, I was super excited that I was super excited. And that's when it hit her heart, like, well, we not married yet first. So, you know, not to go into all of that, but after having a miscarriage the first time and then finding out we was pregnant, well, she was pregnant, we, you know, was pregnant.
It's a we, you know, it's a we.
So that time it kind of really, it was hard for me to kind of build that same excitement up because I was so concerned with
it's like cautiously excited
because it's like I don't want to get myself built back this excited again, and then that a moment like that happens again. So I remember like we had one of our first appointments, and the baby had a heartbeat, and I felt a little bit of relief because our Dr. Amato at the time, he was like, he was so straightforward and just, I wanted a little bit more. He was just like straight to it, but he was like, once the heartbeat is here, then you're pretty much in the clear. But I think at that, I don't know what week that was then, but that made me feel happy. But then my second thing is, you know, I would just say, you know, enjoy as y'all have been, because to go from the time of like when the baby was like just a marble in the stomach to now we going through ultrasounds and we really
it's
seeing
a month later and it's like, whoa,
we really seeing features. I'll be like, this yesterday we seen.
Which I did a 3D.
We tried to do the 3D, but she was being stubborn there, so she got some whoopings as soon as she come out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, but just to see the features now, going from, you know, looking at that What to Expect app, and it's saying right now your baby is just a Y gene or X gene. I don't know. You know, to going to now to seeing a full nose, lips. You know, they say she got a little hair. Hopefully she ain't bald headed. It's just you know, the process is just amazing. So you know, I would just say, as y'all have been doing, just continue just appreciating that and just, you know, living throughout them journeys and just taking, you know.
And really quick, because I know, but for him, he never, like, okay, so I know Q got a funny way of showing he happy. I don't know, like, he just be real chill, and I'm like, look at this.
Right.
Look at her kicking.
That's Jermaine. I'm like, did you see this? He's like,
yeah.
I tell him every day, babe, we're having a daughter.
That's what he like,
I know.
Okay.
Like, so I've heard.
Man, but no, I'm sorry, but before she was, she was physically, I'm sure she couldn't see her kicking. She was like, you see her kicking, and at this point in time, I know for a fact she wasn't seeing her kick yet.
But I was though.
I'm like,
Q, that's that gaslighting we're talking about. Just say, okay, babe, I didn't see it that way. If you say so.
My bad.
We learned it, man. That's our first time. What they expect from us?
But this was the thing, you know, when they little, you feel them more, the fluttery kick. So I was feeling her kick. Now it ain't as strong as how she is right now. But yes, so it's like you saying that I didn't feel it, but it's in me. So I do.
You're not supposed to be able to feel them until later. Only mom can initially. Like Germaine, they was telling him that he's like, oh, that's nice.
See, and that's what I'm saying. And I would say when we first got our ultrasound, I was definitely still, and even still now, I'm still in disbelief.
That's what I said. I keep thinking it's going to pass, but it just feels so surreal.
I mean, I don't know if you anything like me. I'm still, even with her moving right now, even with us being 4 weeks,
until she's out. Like,
and I think even when she get here, I'm just one of those people. It takes time for it to just
process.
I think when she get here, that's when I'm gonna be like, oh, that's actually my child.
Yes,
but I still in disbelief. I'm like, I cannot believe I'm about to be
you
mom.
Can't give her back to somebody else,
right?
But that's my thing, Germaine. I ask him all the time, like, that don't scare you? He like, no. I'm like, it's no more us. He like, it don't need to be no more us. I'm like, yes, it do.
Like, that's so funny. That's why I tell him, like, babe, I feel like overly romantic, but I think too, Jermaine had so much priorities pick up that he hadn't had throughout the entirety of our relationship. So now he's coaching. Now he's working a full-time job, you know, with the kids, and we're doing youth ministry, like just so busy. So I felt like, dang, like, babe, our lives are about to change. We're about to have a baby. This is it. Like, this is me and the end of us. Yes. That's what I said, girl. And so I'm like, babe, you want to go on a date this week? And then I get sick. So then I'm boo-hooing, and he's like, why are you crying? I'm like, I really was looking forward to a special time with you, but I can't get out the bed. Like, but
yeah. So I try to do like the other night. I had I don't remember what happened, but we got some sparkling apple cider.
Yeah, that was so sweet.
I brought it to her in some wine glasses. Like, we just laid there and sipped our little
sparkling apple juice. Yeah, and it was special.
She was just trying to do something like that. Yeah, she was like, "Can we go to the store and get some popcorn?" I'm like, "No, it's not real. It's too late."
I'm like, because
that's it.
Like, I know it's gonna be a different level of us.
Yeah,
but it's like just me and you,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then you already trying to push this dog on me, bro. Like, this is just ridiculous.
Not the dog.
I'm starting to already feel like it's not gonna be. But it's just like you know, those moments do matter. But I will say we definitely gotta have part 2 because I'm serious.
Yeah,
we definitely need to talk about the spiritual aspect, the mental thoughts and stuff like that. Because I'm telling you, even people that's going through just minor things need to know that some of those thoughts are like thoughts that we all experience.
You
God
tell us
me
that so much, just
thing.
normalizing it. And sometimes it's not that you don't know other people are going through, but you need that reminder because the enemy will have you feeling so isolated. Like, I have so many friends that are pregnant that are, you know, quote unquote close, but just you texting that, like, let me first. You're like, hey girl, first of all, that is so normal what you're feeling. And I just started crying. I'm like, I can't write you. I'm about to write you. I can't voice memo you back. But it was just like, sometimes you need those reminders. And I always feel so loved when God does it. Like, God, you're so romantic, because for whatever reason, I wasn't hearing that otherwhere, you know, everywhere else. So just to have those moments to be like, let me stop you right here and say this is normal. And not to like over spiritualize you experiencing anxiety or fear or depression or overwhelmed. Like, God is still present and you're still saved, but these things are real. So I just want to affirm that.
Yeah.
We got to have a part 2.
For sure. Yeah. I think, I'm sorry, real quick. I think because I was on my Bible plan this morning, and because you said isolation, that's why it popped back up, and then we can be done. But you know, it was funny because when Jesus went up, you know, to the hill for 40 days, and he isolated himself, and he's fasted, and he said, and once he was fasting, it got to the point to where he was that's when the devil tried to attack him because he was isolated, like you said, and that's when he was at his lowest moment because he was fasting, he was hungry, and he tempted him 3 times. And that just sparked in my mind because when you said the isolation thing, that's when we're at that. That's when we feel like we're at our lowest, most vulnerable times. But in all actuality, like once you let go and let God, I gotta remember I'm still. He's still with me.
Yeah, and you get some truth, and that's what you did. It was just like light, and it was truth, and that's kind of what I've been trying to hold on to, just like in my adult walk with my faith walk. Is like, God, it's going to be so many lies that I have to address. And I just need your truth. And that's kind of what gives me the strength. Even when I don't feel it, like if I can start saying it and then eventually like it's the manifestation comes, like, thank you, Lord, I needed that. So thank you guys.
We appreciate you.
So this was awesome. Like I said, we definitely going to have a part 2 another day. Because we need to talk about that, but it was such an honor and a privilege to just be in y'all presence.
It was great to be here. I've been seeing the great work y'all been doing. I'm like, man, I gotta get on there.
I told him, I said, hey, we so blessed. People we know they be doing their thing.
So what we'll do is, because you're a chef, so we're gonna have to drop your in the description your Instagram and different things like that. So you guys can follow him and, you know, hit him up, book with him.
And I'm sorry, maybe some resources, like you said, the light. What's the group?
So Lifeline of Ohio is an nonprofit organ procurement organization, and we highly focus on organ donation. So
especially within the Black community.
We can post that as well.
So we post some resources and your ads and stuff like that, so that way people can follow you and book with you and things of that nature. Be looking forward to a part 2, even if it's, like I said, it's our last episode of the year, so I'm so excited that we get to just literally leave with this. But we're gonna have more talk, just when it comes to like marriage, you know, and the lessons and stuff of that, what we learned so far. Yeah, so seriously. So thank y'all for joining us. We just want y'all to like, comment, subscribe, share. And yeah, comment anything, any questions you have, anything, we'll get back with you. And yeah, thank you for joining Neighborhood Politics.
For sure.
And we out.